I guess on my hair, she look all right. And with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video, even though I already told y'all I'm not a big fan of pastels. Pastels don't do it for me, but you know I want to make sure that you all are happy and I give you all content, and the palette that received the most votes that came up next would be the Juvia's Place Mints palette. I've already done a tutorial for the Army palette, so if you would like to see that one, just make sure you check that out right here. But this one came in at number 2, and so that's what we're playing with today. This is the only palette that I have on the eyes, and I am wearing all 4 shades. I'm telling you, I got some opinions on this palette because I already went in with a negative mindset, like, honey, we don't like pastels. So I was a little critical with my judging, but I am honest. So if you all would like to know either A, my opinions on this palette, or B, how to achieve the look that I'm wearing right now, just make sure you continue to watch. And before we got started, you know I had to give you a close-up of the packaging. You know Juvia's Place always kills it with the packaging. Once again, this is the Rebel Mint Squad. And this is what the shades look like on the inside. We have 2 shimmer shades on the top and 2 matte shades. In my opinion, there's only so many looks you're going to be able to create with this quad because there are so few selection of colors. And I'm not going to lie to you all, pastels are not my favorite, so I'm not the most excited to do this. But because it's green, we're going to give it our best efforts. But first, I want to show you all finger swatches across the arm. And this is what it looks like up close with swatches. Everything has been swatched one time over no primer. The first 2 shades are the shimmer shades, and to me, they don't seem to have full opacity. They seem to be more like crystal toppers, but the 2 matte shades seem very opaque. Alright, you guys, let's go ahead and get into it. Today, the Rebel Mint Squad is on the line, and I'm sitting back looking at it like, greens are my absolute favorites. Pastels, not so much, honey. That's why I got this shirt on to help get me in the mood, get me in the vibe, because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. But with 2 matte shades, it ain't going to be hard to figure this one out. We're going to start things off with shade 3 as a transition shade. Then we're going to go ahead and use shade 4 in the crease. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Y'all already know, per usual, we're going to leave all tools and products in the description bar below. And because I'm still testing out my rougher brushes, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Going to start off with my largest one, my number 27 brush. And we're going to use that as a transition shade. So let's see what she's working with. Okay, got my mirror here. And I'm telling you all, I knew for sure I was going to buy this palette. I ain't even going to lie to you. I knew I was going to buy it. Just because it's Juvia's Place. But I promise you, if I never wore it, it would have never hurt my feelings because I don't do pastels. But when I asked you all for votes on which palette you want to see next, this one had the most votes, and I believe right behind that was the Honey palette. So I will be doing the Honey Quad next. And I'm not going to lie to you all, that blend on that was fabulous. I'm not even sure if I need a second layer, but just to see how much opacity we're going to get, we're going to go ahead and try it out. I'm going to knock off all the excess off my brush. We're going to go in one more time. Yeah, see, she gave me full opacity on that first layer. She diffuses amazingly. I want you to bring this up as high as you possibly can, sis. And just because we're going to do the most today because we ain't got nothing else to do, we're going to use the same color and you're just going to pack it on the inner and outer half of your lids. Not really worried about the blend, just really worried about getting it opaque there. Gonna do just 2 layers like we did, and then we'll be right back. Just like that, honey. Now that we have shade 3 used as our transition, it's time to go in with a smaller blending brush in shade number 4 in the crease. And smaller than my number 27 brush is my number 15 brush. We just gonna do the same, load her up, knock off all excess, and see how much this is going to deepen up the crease. Okay, I'm starting to see some deepening going on. It ain't the world's darkest crease shade, but it'll give us a little bit of depth. You see this eye compared to that one? Gonna do 1 more layer. See what she gives us with that. So more than likely, if I were to ever use this palette again, I would probably bring in 1 more deeper crease shade, maybe even a very soft matte black just to help deepen these up, or another green, like that Army Quad would be beautiful with this palette. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna load it up on one side, deepen up the edges, but we're not gonna take it all the way like we did that first color. We want a gradient to show through. 2 layers for opacity. And now you see it's just a little bit deeper than this side. Be right back. And off camera, I accidentally poked myself in the eye trying to answer the phone, so please ignore that this eye is watering up right now. That is not due to the eyeshadows, but I'm gonna go ahead, cut my crease with my NYX glitter adhesive. You all already know you can use whatever eye primer you all like, but I like something strong enough to hold glitter, so I know for sure he's strong enough to hold this eyeshadow. And I'm gonna use my Morphe M421 brush, and I'm gonna try my hardest to just cut the center of this lid. Baby, I always forget, be doing the most, and end up cutting way too far. We're gonna try to keep this near the center, sis. Really all you got to worry about. And I like to cut my crease high. Now that we have our lids prepped, we're going to go ahead into shade number 2 here and put that all over the center of the lid. Okay, now we want to take this and see how shimmery and reflective she is going to be. I've come to find with this brush, it's best to put your first layer down, blend that out, and then go back in and swipe the color in place to get the most opacity. So I want to try to make sure I cover everything first. And remember, during swatches I told you this shadow does not appear to be a fully opaque shadow. She seems more like a topper shade, so we are not expecting opacity. And now that we have that color in place, I can go back in with a little bit more and just try to get it like that. And then just to make sure that we don't have any harsh edges or anything, we're going to diffuse those right here. And we'll leave that just like that. Alrighty, now that I'm looking at this, I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to do. I really need to diffuse the edges right here. But now I'm trying to say, Torrence, do you see a little bit? Do you need a little bit? And you know what? I think I do. We're going to go right back into the same brush I used to coat my lid, my Morphe M421. We're going to add just the tiniest bit of glitter adhesive right in the middle of the brush, and then we're going to do one single swipe down the center of the eye. We want to leave a very thin trail of glitter adhesive right there to make it extra tacky when we put on this next shade. Now we're going to go into the same brush we used to put shade number 2 on our lid, and we're going to use that for shade number 1 in the very center of the lid. Normally with a brush like this is the Redford 02 brush, I will go in with this brush flat like this to get the most product, but I'm going to take it and turn it to the very thin side here and pick up product like that and use that to get just the very center of the eye instead of going like this and packing it on its normal use. So we're going to pick this product up going in sideways. Then we're just going to come right here to the center of the lid and swipe that straight down. You see how that gave me that one beam of light, you see? That pigment plus that brush is what allowed me to pick it up. We're going to do the other side. That glue held on to everything we put down, but that one beam of light right there would be way too much to just walk around. So after we have it on, then we're going to turn it to the flat side and buff it out and use that to diffuse the edges. Make it look like that shadow beams really bright right there near the center of the eye. Okay, yeah, now I have some depth and dimension. It looks like it's a little higher right here and a little darker there. But before we go any further, I want to take one smaller brush. This is going to be my Redford 14. And we're going to go back into shade number 4, our deepest matte, and we're going to use that to try to deepen up our inner and outer corners as much as possible. This is a very tiny brush, so you really want to try to pack that color in as much as possible. That's all we can ask for. Alright, this is all that we have so far going on the top of the lids. What I have to do is really clean up underneath my eyes because I do have some glitter fallout. So I'm going to finish off the face and I'll be back to show you how we're going to finish off the lower lash line. Hi. Baby, let me tell you. When we first got started, I was looking at this like, that's real light. That's real pastel. Then I'm like, you know what, Torrence? Since you're already stepping out of your comfort zone, go ahead and use a couple other things that you suspect on. You like, okay, I might know about the formula, but I don't know about that color. So let me go ahead and tell y'all about it. For the lower lash line, I am wearing, you know, I love the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencils, my favorite eye formula. The thing is, this color here, Freak, is a very light shimmery green. And although the application was extremely difficult, I think this is probably the hardest one I've ever had to work with. Once it's finally on, it's a nice little shimmery color there. Like you see how loud and vibrant that is from across the room. You can see that there. But up close, like I guess from my point of view, it looks patchy when you're putting it on. But from regular conversation view, she looked nice. So we're going to try her again as like an eyeshadow base or with a darker color to see if I like her. But so far, she may be green, but she giving me the blues. For lip liner, all week I have been wearing the Urban Decay Cola, not the Urban Decay, the Juvia's Place Cola lip liner. I've used this in all 3 looks that I've done this week. But for the first time, I wanted to try out a new lipstick from them, and this is the shade Muted. This is called a Cool Tone Chocolate Brown, and I usually love peachy pink nudes. So to get one this shade, and I'm like cool tone brown, I truly thought it was going to be a terrible color on my complexion. But I figured why not try something new, and I got it, and I'm here to tell you, honey, cool tone or not, this may be one of the most beautiful brown lipsticks I've ever worn. I do have a darker liner on it, and then right on top for the very center, I went in with the Juvia's Place Gloss in Legit Nude. I have it just right here from this center point. It's not on the edges, but look at that, honey. I've always only worn warm peachy pink nude lipsticks unless I was going for a bold color. And I know I've worn Mademoiselle more than any other color. And I'm going to say for now, that's still my favorite. But this is easily, for Muted, jumped up to a number 2 favorite. And give it some time, she may come out and be #1 because this is stunning. I always found cool tone lip colors to look much flattering on people who have a much lighter and much deeper complexion than myself. But I think Juvia's placed and found one that worked for me. So let's hurry up and get into this eye look, honey, because I got to hurry up and get pictures of this and send this off. So what do we have to do left? It ain't much. We done tested out all 4 shades here. So it's basically just finishing off the lower lash line. So I am going to grab me some pencil brushes. We're going to grab this larger one here, number 26 from Redford. And we are going to use that to just buff out our lower lash line with shade number 3. And then we're going to go back in and do the same thing with a smaller pencil brush in shade number 4. And baby, 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 let me tell y'all, I might have came into this worried about what this was going to look like. But I'm telling you right here, right now, honey, she looking real, real pretty. Just want to get a transition shade started. So when I go in with my deeper color, the color I really want down here, she got something to buff her out, and we're going to connect this to the outer edges here. And just make sure you have a nice opaque line. Look at her. I swear I love this large buffing brush because you can see even from a distance that this is a pastel color, but you can see it on camera that it buffed that out way down here, unlike on this side. So I'll be right back. Now we're going to go in with a smaller brush, number 3. This is, I think, the tiniest pencil brush that Redford makes. Shade number 4. And we're going to deepen up that lower lash line. Oh yeah, baby. That color right there just does something to me. From a distance, you can see this is much deeper than this side. Now, just to finish off the eyes, we're going to take shade number 1 and we're going to use that to highlight the inner eye corner as well as our brow bone. Got my Redford number 28 brush and we've loaded her up. Yeah. And you want to pack this on rather slowly. You don't want to race into this color here because she does have some fallout. So to avoid that, just go slow, build her up. And I want a beaming inner eye corner. Take the tiniest bit underneath the eyes, underneath the brows. And this does have some floating glitters in her. So to make sure she don't look stiff or unblended, we're gonna go back in with our Redford number 12 brush. This is a dome shadow brush, and use that to just diffuse that. Make sure we ain't got no harsh lines or no patchy glitter anywhere. We want the brightest point to be the arch of the brow and everything else to diffuse down from there. Add a little more sparkle right here. Alrighty, honey, I think that is everything right there. I'm looking around trying to make sure we didn't forget anything. I don't think so, so go ahead and grab your spray so we can set everything, because you know I'm about to grab mine. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All nighter so things last all day. Cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. I'm going to give this a few more seconds to dry and I'll be back to show you all the final look. And this is the final look. I want to go ahead and give you all a full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And honey, I got to tell you, this turned out to be a shocker. When I first ordered this, it was literally just to complete the collection, honey. Me and Pastels do not get along. I've had many pastel eyeshadow palettes and every single time they just either sat there or they got decluttered, but light, soft, barely there colors, nope. Not on my complexion, honey. I just never care for them. And before I cut away to do the face, all I kept telling myself is, Torrence, the colors sort of look like a Tiffany box, so you want to feel expensive, but this is some bright, pale colors. And for me personally, having hooded eyes, I'm always looking for a deep color in my crease. I always like a little extra definition in my outer V and my crease because I don't want me to look tired or look like, you know, I didn't blend things in the right order or anything like that. But because we had two mattes, and this second one here is slightly darker, it did deepen things up. And because I took this green all over the lid and then put this one in the center, it gives us a little dimension because it looks like this part of the eye sits a little higher than the edges. So it is not the most defined look, but is it beautiful? Yes. Do I recommend this palette? Yes. That was a shocker. The only piece of advice I would give you with this palette is if for any reason you go into shade number 2 right here, I would truly recommend you use it before you do your face makeup, because out of all 4 shades, this one has the most fallout, it has the most sparkly and the most noticeable. So right there underneath the eyes, if it gets there, more than likely you're going to need a makeup wipe to remove it. You're not just going to be able to swipe it away with a brush. But other than that, I love this palette. I really did not think this look would come off this vivid and this vibrant. But like I said, honey, she got me looking like a Tiffany box, so I am feeling expensive. And knowing you was less than $20, honey, something that cheap making you feel that good got to be a good thing. So I promise you all, if you get this palette, you are going to love it. If you're someone like me who did not or do not trust pastel shadows, please give this one a try. I promise you, you will not regret it. Also, I know this was supposed to be an eyeshadow tutorial, but I'm just loving this lip combo. Lips are my favorite part of the body, and this shade here, Muted, of all of the shades that I can recommend, Muted and Mademoiselle are my 2 favorites. And I'm just sitting here going back and forth like, honey, how often do you wear a full face of makeup and you got popping eyeshadow like this and you're not worried about none of it because all you worried about is these lips? But I'm telling you, if for any reason you all like this tutorial, make sure you give this a thumbs up because I will not be slowing down. As stated, the palette that got the most counts and most votes after this was the Honey palette. But if for any reason you want to see any other Juvia's Place palette, regardless which one it is, make sure you all leave a comment in the description. I mean, not in the description bar. Make sure you all leave a comment down below. You can also check out the description bar because any and everything that I use on the face, that includes makeup and brushes, will be there. I'm not sure exactly how I want to spend things on y'all next week, but I do know I have some other things I want to get out there. I'm trying to decide, besides that Honey palette, what else should I do next week? I'm looking around. And I think what I'm going to bring you all is that Teresa is Dead palette. Everybody's been asking about that. And since I'm finally at the house and I can get that done, I'm going to make sure I get that one out next week. I'm not sure about what video to do for the 3rd one for next week. So if you all have any suggestions, just make sure you leave that in the comment section below. It is getting rather late at night. And I'm sitting here looking at this like, where is it that we can go? Because it ain't too much open for too much longer. And I don't want this beat to go to waste, but the only way I'm going to fan that out is to get off camera. So if nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye YouTube.